all of a sudden he's like, you know, it's just like when you were young and everyone wanted to be one less lonely girl, get called onto stage with Justin Bieber at his concerts.
Oh
but
God.
You wanted to be Justin Bieber.
We should watch that with Ashley and Sushi. Feel the vibes, it's a night so lush.
Hey guys, it is We Should Watch That, and we're back today with
My Old Ass.
My Old Ass.
It's written and directed by Megan Park, and main cast is like, I think, well, at least in my experience, mostly unknown.
So there's in this movie we've got Elliot LeBrant is played by Maisy, Stella, and also Aubrey Plaza.
Yeah, the older version of her is played by Aubrey Plaza.
Yep, and yeah, Maria. Oh, I can't see because I don't have my glasses on.
Maria
Dizia is her mom. Maddie Ziegler is Ruthie, one of her friends. And then Carice Brooks is Ro, one of Elliot's other friends. So, yeah. Sush, could you tell us what like the general premise of the movie is?
Elliot is about to go to college. Mm-hmm. She's about to have her 18th birthday, and on her 18th birthday, she decides to take mushrooms with her friends. Mm-hmm. And in that experience, she ends up encountering her older self.
Mm-hmm. And so what happens is when she's having this this mushroom trip, and she's talking to Aubrey Plaza, they have this really sweet like bonding experience. And she asked her, okay, you have to give me some advice, okay? And she said, and Aubrey's Plaza, the older version, is like, you know, you should try to stay away from anyone named Chad. She's like, why? She's like, don't worry about it. Just stay away from Chads. Yeah. And then, sure enough, the next day...
She's like off in, you know, I guess there's like a bunch of lakes by where she lives. So she's like in there, in one of the lakes swimming, and then encounters some boy, I guess, who's also happens to be swimming there. She gets like wound up by him.
She's also nude.
Yeah, that's a big deal. Yeah. But it's just kind of like she's surprised because it seems like one of those places where it seems probably
she would
pretty
be alone, yeah.
She probably seems pretty private, but then finds out that, you know, this guy is actually working for her dad. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, initially it starts off pretty sweet. I mean, you know, it still stays that way throughout the whole thing, but it's kind of funny because in the beginning he kind of like teases her about it. It's like, oh yeah, you look really like your dad. Yeah. I really like your dad. He's like,
yeah, he looks exactly like you.
Yeah, he's a really good guy and like all this stuff. So it's like kind of weird initially because it's like, you know, this guy's like pretty endearing and stuff.
Very quirky too. Yeah. Quirky guy for sure.
And then it develops from there. They have a friendship, and they find that they like hanging out a lot. Well, she finds out that that's the Chad that her older self was referring to.
So when they're doing mushrooms at the beginning, young Elliot falls asleep, and Aubrey Plaza, the older one, puts her phone number into her phone, and you don't see until the next day that she put herself in the phone as My Old Ass.
Oh yeah.
So that's the name of the movie.
There you go.
And at the beginning they're texting back and forth, and she keeps being like, hey, what's the deal with Chad? And Aubrey's like, don't worry about it, just stay away from him. Yeah. And then they start getting really close, and then she doesn't hear from the older version of herself for a while, and she gets more and more worried.
Yeah.
And it's also a big deal for her because she's never had feelings like this for men before.
So while Elliot is kind of panicking about what's going on with Chad and like getting really anxious about it, she decides that maybe because like the first time that she met her older self was through taking mushrooms, she decides that maybe she'll repeat it again to yield the same results.
Solid logic.
Yeah. But instead of that happening, there's a hilarious scene.
It's so good.
Of her singing Justin Bieber's, what song is it?
One Less Lonely Girl.
Oh, yeah, One Less Lonely.
So she's like, starts doing the mushrooms and is like, nothing's happening. And then
Yeah.
all of a sudden Chad shows up and she's like, what are you here for? She's like, and he says, well, your friend told me you wanted to talk to me about your feelings. And then you notice like he has longer hair. He's got like these little braids in his hair and stuff. You're like, that's a little odd.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he's like, you know, it's just like when you were young and everyone wanted to be one less lonely girl, get called on the stage with Justin Bieber at his concerts.
Oh my
But
God.
you wanted to be Justin Bieber. And then it transitions to her doing
like one less Lily. It looks like she's on stage as Justin Bieber doing like the
Yeah.
whole, you know, song and dance routine while Chad is just sitting there.
He's
like,
sort of like,
like you know how they do like in the concerts sometimes where they sit the girl on stage
Yeah.
and then like the singer like sings it. Yeah, that's basically what she does for Chad.
It made me think of Trap too, because in Trap they bring an audience member onto the stage like that.
So leading up to the point where Elliot finally gets a hold of her, you know, older self, she seems, the movie tries to highlight like certain aspects of Chad, so like make him seem like a, you know, like a pretty perfect guy. So, you know, it kind of builds the anxiety even more within younger Elliot, and then when she finally gets a hold of her older self, who apparently has been way at a meditation retreat this whole time and didn't bother to tell her younger self. Yeah, she finds out that like Chad dies in the course of her, like later on in her future.
Yeah. At the end, when she discovers, you know, that Chad will at some point pass away, she decides to stay with him.
Yeah, her younger self.
Yeah, and I think that really it gives me chills talking about it. But it just really shows you how much maturity that character gains in a short period of time. So that really is what the movie's about, is just
taking
growing
risks.
up, taking risks. You know, they talk about like a set place and time. Like, this is a place at a time that you'll never go back to, so you want to cherish it. So just all in all, it was a really
it was a
endearing
sweet
movie. Yeah,
it was a good date
I really
movie.
enjoyed it. Very good date movie. I really liked the stuff with Chad, but I also really liked the stuff with her family, which doesn't have as big of a part of the plot. She sort of encourages her to think of her mom more as like a real person. But you know, I'm very close with my family, and I still sometimes think, gosh, I feel like I was probably a jerk when I was young, especially, you know, to your younger sibling. Like, she's also the oldest sibling. I'm an oldest sibling. And sometimes I think, gosh, I wish I was a little nicer or more attentive. But she, through meeting her older self, starts hanging out with her middle brother, they grow closer, and she really
No, I think she takes a good
appreciates it.
advantage of the time that they have left together before she heads off to college. So,
Yeah. Great. So I guess let's get to our ratings.
Yeah. So for quality, I put it at a 2.5 out of 5. Not necessarily like because didn't think it was good quality. I just thought that, you know, obviously they didn't spend a lot on production or marketing. You know, the budget was kind of low. So, but I feel like, you know, for what they spent on it and like the talent that they had a good product in the end.
I guess for quality, I give it a 3 out of 5. And I'm not really dinging it on anything, because I think it looked good. You know, it wasn't, it didn't have a particularly distinct, like, it wasn't a movie that's about the style. So it's not like this style is unique. It was really just about the people and like the cinematography, let you focus on them. The casting a lot. I thought the actors were all awesome. The family unit was great.
Yeah.
Chad was so unusual. Like, the first scene where you see that character, he's just odd, but odd in a way that feels real. And I liked that the young and old Elliot didn't look exactly alike, and they didn't behave exactly alike, but you really can see that could be the same person.
Yeah.
It wasn't like obsessed with making them like look the same. And then for enjoyment, I would say 3.5. I really liked it. I really liked it a lot. I really, I really related to a lot of it, having been a loud teenager. I'm a loud adult too, but being a loud kid who's a little opinionated and maybe could rub some people the wrong way, and how growing up you get more of an appreciation for the people around you, and that's something that I think about a lot and means a lot to me. So it really resonated. I thought Aubrey Plaza, I think it's one of her best acting roles I've seen, maybe aside from like Legion. I mean, she gets to do a lot, I think. In a little bit of time she does a lot. I really liked it a lot.
Yeah, I really liked it too. I would give it a 3 out of 5 for enjoyment. I really think that Maisy Stella did a great job as Elliot, like the younger Elliot. She was very believable as like a teenager that's about to go off to college, one that kind of also even like feels like she knows herself, because she's clearly like a lesbian and she feels comfortable in like her identity and everything like that. So it seems like her I guess like growing pains or whatever are not due to her identity issues.
Yeah, that was refreshing.
Like, I think just her realization that like she made changes as a person.
Yeah.
I think it's like one of the tough things that we all kind of deal with. It's a good like coming of age thing where the realization that you may not be the same person, you may not be in the same things, or like have the same friends and things in life. That type of stuff really resonated with me. So yeah, I thought it was great.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for watching. We should watch that. Please do like the video. It helps us a lot. And comment. Tell us what you thought of it if you saw it.
Yeah.
And
like and subscribe because we gotta make some money off of this.
Money. All right. Bye, guys.
Right.